is going on, everybody? It is your favorite everything, JR Wisdom, with my great co-host QT Dub, live from the city and metropolitan area of Atlanta, Georgia. How are you guys doing this morning? How you doing, QT Dub? What's happening with it, my brother?
Not too shabby, sir. Not too shabby. How you doing? Getting back at it. After we had a little, unnecessary day off.
Unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? It's costing us billions of dollars to be doing stuff like yesterday, and to be fair, a lot of the workers don't want it. A lot of the workers wanted to be at it yesterday. So other than that, I'm doing pretty well. But we're gonna have to look into some reforms. On these federal holidays. You know what I mean? But as long as we cool with President's Day and Columbus Day and all these other ancillary days, it's all good. But doing pretty well though. Aside from that, how about you, sir? Did you do anything Juneteenth-ish yesterday?
Nah, man, I just kind of chilled out, man. Just really chilled out. Like I was telling you offline, man, I just bought a little scooter, so I was testing that out.
Yes, sir.
So the weather, was kind of out here in Atlanta. It was raining at first, and it kind of cleared up at the end of the day. I'm pretty sure it's the same way in Smyrna. So but before we jump into this show, we got some crazy topics here.
What we got? Casey Reynolds in the building. What's happening with you?
Go ahead and I got my mic far away. I almost forgot, man. Sitting up here talking, the mic is like all the way over here. Go ahead and hit that like button, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Follow on all platforms. Go ahead and let us know where you guys are checking in from. Age, sex, location, gender, whatever it is that you identify as, even if it's a dog or cat.
Meow.
Let us know how you rocking. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to Con Honey. Yeah. How to run representing that brick city.
Always showing up. Yeah, hit that like button, guys. And this is a live call-in show. And if you do feel the need to share your thoughts on your topics, the link is pinned in the chat for you to call in. So yeah, like we said, man, it was just Juneteenth yesterday. We might as well just go ahead and get that out the way. I know you addressed it earlier, and the homie Trump expressed some displeasure with the amount of money that's being lost or not being made on that day because of this federal holiday that is completely unnecessary. What do you thought? What has it been like? Has it been like 3 years ago when Biden?
I think like three.
3 years ago.
3.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
3.
Biden made it official holiday, federal holiday. What were you aware of Juneteenth before then? Because I know a lot of people wasn't aware of it.
I was, but I'm not gonna act like I knew about it for like decades. I became aware of it around, I want to say, around 2016 or 17. And interesting enough, I'm not even, the word interesting isn't really the word. I'm gonna say embarrassingly enough, I learned about it from a colleague of mine at work that happened to have been an Asian lady.
Right.
And she was talking about that she and her girlfriends were going to some Juneteenth festival. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what? I had never heard that term / word before. And then, of course, that sent me down the rabbit hole and finding out about Tulsa and all of this other stuff. But yeah, it was interesting to me that it almost seemed like it was a phenomenon as far as people finding out about Juneteenth and Tulsa and all of that stuff really over the past decade. So
yeah,
when it really got to its fever pitch, in my opinion, going into the the George Floyd time,
right?
I wasn't surprised that the Biden administration at that point made it recognized it and made it a federal holiday. As far as the comments, from the executive big homie, really, to be honest, I just take it as something funny. To be honest, it's red meat, for his hardcore base, and it is what it is, because come on, yo, like really, the dude that every other time you see him is riding on a golf cart,
right?
I'm sorry, oozing off the side of a golf cart, like complaining about too many days off. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah. You know what's funny, man, and I'm glad you brought that up. I asked you that because I found out about it around the same time, you know, we had this consciousness kick of the rise of Umar Johnson and
Okay.
a lot of the black thought leaders of consciousness started, you know, really exploding around that time. And you know, it became something. Now you kept hearing it, Juneteenth or whatever. You know, there were people have been like really celebrating. I think the early 90s is when they really started celebrating it, for lack of a better term, with events. But I guess it was just for people in the know, because we never heard about this in school or growing up.
Of course.
Being, you know, from the South. But it is obviously there wasn't. I mean, there were newspapers back then.
Yeah.
But the amount of, you know, black folks that could read, you know, especially being that it was 1862 when the Emancipation Proclamation came about, and then you really not finding out till 3 years later that you're actually free is ridiculous, for lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? And you heard there's actually a movie, I don't know if you remember it, or it came out a few years ago, called Alice, with Keke Palmer in it.
Oh man. Okay, now just because you mentioned it, now I period pieces like that, I have to be in the mood to watch.
Yeah.
And that's a period piece, because she jumps like, is that the one where she thinks she's in the past and they pretending that she really isn't? And
no, that's Antebellum.
Oh, that's Antebellum.
That's with old girl, Monet. What's her name? Something Monet. Y'all know who I'm talking about. She's a singer.
Janelle
Monet or whatever.
Monet.
Or the LGBTQ. She was
okay.
black.
Okay, that's that one. All right, that's Antebellum. And Alice is something. Is it similar to that?
So Alice is about, and this is based on a true story. Alice is about this girl who's on this plantation. I think this is in the 50s or the 60s.
Okay.
She's still on a plantation and she still thinks that there's slavery going on.
Yeah.
And this guy comes about. I never watched it. I've been meaning to watch it because I thought it was cool. It's on streaming on one of these platforms. And I think she returns back after like some dude, or they free her from the plantation, whatever. She returns back to exact revenge or some shit.
Got it.
But there's really, you know, just imagine this going on for 3 years and probably beyond that for it to still be going on in the 50s and 60s to be rocking like that. So, you know, this date being significant, like when we talk about the 4th of July, we talk about Juneteenth, nobody ever celebrates January 1st though. You know what I mean? Because we think, and then me going down the rabbit hole, like you said, like many years ago, if you have a brain,
I was just saying, man, morning to Ashley.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Ashley M in the building. Yeah,
when you think about it, bro, because obviously we were all brought up celebrating the 4th of July, right? As I'm talking about as far as black folks, for sure.
Yeah.
As far as black people celebrating the 4th of July. But you just celebrating it because it's a holiday, but not really thinking about, you know, what the meaning of the 4th of July.
Especially as kids, you like fireworks, bro. That's fireworks. Say less. Barbecue and fireworks.
Right. So not really understanding the significance of it. And, you know, as black folks in America, how you were still weren't free at that time, even though, you know, the U.S. is basically a sovereign nation at this point, no longer, you know, under the England, for lack of a better term. So, but with the Emancipation Proclamation coming about, nobody ever celebrates that though, which was January 1st, 1862.
The following year.
1862. But you never hear that. And as I'm like, damn. Why does nobody never celebrate that? You celebrate New Year's, but you never celebrate the Emancipation Proclamation as an official holiday. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's a reason for that, and a reason for, like you say, up until recently, even Juneteenth being mentioned, because if you celebrate these things, then that means you have to acknowledge the origin.
That's right.
And if you haven't noticed that recently with the campaign of the current administration, and I mean the campaign of like last summer and stuff leading up to the election, and even afterwards with the administration now, a big part of their push was about education and getting rid of certain things in curriculums. All right. One of the things they did is they removed African American studies from AP programs.
Okay.
And see, I don't want to go, I'm not going to get long-winded about it, but this is one of the things that some of us were aware of that the administration wanted to set forth, and we've been seeing it enacted, and wanted to ring the bells about before the election took place. And then you got the whole snowflake victim mentality stuff. And
what's that theory called? Before
the Trump derangement
no
syndrome. Which one?
As far as the studies being removed, it's a term.
Oh, you talking about the critical race theory?
Yeah, there you go. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Which that's a different thing, but it's related,
right.
So to speak. But my thing is, there's been a concerted effort to make sure that the masses don't know about this stuff, and to make sure we don't know about it as a people. Because think about it, it's easier to do things to people when they're dehumanized.
That's right.
When they don't have value. So you take away contributions that they've made to the country. Look at what Pete Hegseth has been doing at the Department of Defense. They just removed the bust of Dr. Martin Luther King out of the White House this weekend. Did anybody talk about that?
No, they didn't.
What was the purpose of that? Removal of anything positive, any positive contributions we've made to the country. So the only thing that we have left is just being the criminals, the welfare recipients, the drug dealers, the guys that pack the prisons.
Right.
But none of the people that were war heroes. No, we weren't any of that. None of that stuff. So again, sometimes there are conspiracy theories, but then pay attention to the policy. The policy is matching up to what a lot of people were ringing the bells about before the election. That's all I'm gonna say about that. It's adding up.
I feel you, babe.
And if you pay attention, they're really playing an excellent kung fu game, because they fighting all of the minorities in one time on the same front. Ayah, Negroes, ayah, Latinos, get out of here. Ayah, and we got something for everybody.
Yeah. Something for everybody. Got some kung fu for everybody.
Yeah, unless you're European.
Damn. Shout out to all 10 people on YouTube right now watching.
Shout out to Miss Tiffany, Miss Tiff Tigress. That's what we're gonna do. Quit counting numbers. We're gonna give a quality show.
Exactly.
And when you see it, you see it.
And you see it.
And shout out to YouTube, my man.
My man, they're always the best show. Yeah.
What's
Shout
up,
out to all 8 of y'all on Facebook too. Shout out. Anyway.
This guy, man.
Yeah. So what was it? It was something that we had talked about on Monday that we said we was going to address here on Friday also.
I'm gonna tell you what one of them was, and it's so fitting that Eminem just came in the building. Shout out to Eminem, because it was a topic he brought up right when we were about to sign off. He was like, "What's up with Antonio Brown?" And I was like, "What?"
Oh yeah, that's right, Antonio Brown. Yeah,
that was it. I got a little follow up pulled up for him. Just for you, Eminem, in the building. Oh, Antonio, because I didn't know what kind of antics he was up to around there. What's up, Trey? What is up?
Shout out. So before we jump on to the next topic, I just got a quick question for everybody. Let me know if you were getting an alert through the YouTube app.
Serious.
If you're getting alerted through the YouTube app, or you getting alerted via email, or you just happen to be on YouTube. But I just want to know if you guys have gotten, when we went live or when we go live, have you guys received an alert through YouTube through the app?
That's
those of you who have an app.
Eminem said he got a notification.
Yeah,
that's a negative for me. But I did get a notification. Oh, you can't. It's not focused.
Yeah.
I did get a Twitch notification though.
Yeah, shout out to Twitch too.
Yep.
Just curious for all you guys. Okay, you got an email, Lil C.
Oh,
notification. Yeah. You happen to be on YouTube. Okay, got you. Just curious.
All right.
I was notified. I want to know how you were notified, not just how. I want to know how you were notified, because they could notify you via email. They can notify you via the app. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I want to know how you were notified. But yeah. Anyway, man, I want to start off with this with this story that I actually posted yesterday, man. Did you hear? I don't know if you heard about it or if you saw the video. Did you hear about this Atlanta booty clapper that pulled this hit and run off from Candyland?
I saw it like in my news feed, but I didn't click into it to see what the actual details were. So if you know about it, please enlighten me. I didn't see that one. There was so many scams and arrests going on locally in the A. Like I said, we could do a whole show on that.
Right. So I'm gonna share the screen here. So there was this 30-year-old.
Shout out to the dude, booty clapping sounds.
Yeah,
Eminem, you crazy,
man. Shout out, man. But there was this young lady that goes by the name of Portia Taylor, right? She was a booty clapper from Candyland here in Atlanta.
Okay,
which I believe that's 2 Chainz. Let me look. Let me see where Candyland is. I think that's 2 Chainz booty club though.
Oh, okay. 2 Chainz.
Candyland. Hopefully it don't pull up the game. My Mac has been, I got a few windows open, but my Mac has been like running ridiculous. Did my screen just freeze?
Just a little bit, but you back.
Okay, got
you.
All
right, woman. Okay, there she is.
So got it. Yeah, because everything, even your screen on my end, was black. Her mugshot. So anyway, it's right here, her mugshot right here. But this thing is like got all kind of crazy pop-ups on here. Let's go back. Just want to get so y'all get a. I think it was doing this yesterday. Images. So this is her right here.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's and she had like crazy stuff in the car when they caught up with her.
Right. So Candyland is on Baker Street.
Ooh, that's in
which is Baker Street is. I'm just zooming in on the map here. That is by Georgia Power headquarters. Let's see, by the Hilton in Atlanta. Yeah, not far from the Hilton.
Yo, facts, Trey. I'm like, this is the mugshot. She looking like, and what?
There's one. This is the one I actually used on the thumbnail. This one right here, without the wig.
Okay, dokie.
So these hairlines are diabolical,
bro. Like that's it's like Stephen A. is pointing at you.
Man, that's terrible.
Stephen A. Smith is like, ha.
And it's not to roast her, but this is why ladies be talking about dudes' hairlines, but they have on a wig. That's even more diabolical. When you talk about a man's hairline and you got on a wig, is insane to me. But yeah,
she about a half inch away from Officer Alex Murphy. She about to be the black RoboCop.
Black Robo, man.
Drop it, scum.
He said, them edges are unalive. Goodness. Good night. But yeah, to get into the lady's past.
Yes. What she do?
So she's a 30-year-old booty clapper. So she did her shift that night at Candyland, right? So she did her shift, and I guess she took off. You know, Candyland's probably open till like 5, 6 in the morning, right? So she does her shift. She gets in her ride. She goes home. You know, flying down Baker Street. This is around 6:30 in the morning, right? This gentleman, and he's white, but not that it matters. He's crossing the street, maybe going for some exercise or going, you know, to his car or whatever.
Bro,
she's barreling down Baker, hits him, unalives him.
God.
Drives all the way up. I guess she's heading home. She's in Smyrna somewhere on I-75, I guess, heading towards Smyrna. I'm assuming that's where it goes at. So she hits somebody else, right? Runs, does a hit and run on that other person. This is in a vehicle this time. She hits the person in a vehicle. She gets pulled over, gets arrested for DUI. They find ecstasy or Molly. It said Molly in some reports, ecstasy. MDMA, whatever you want to call it, weed, and an open bottle of tequila in the thing. So she bonds out.
What?
Yeah, it's a DUI, hit and run DUI. So it's not like a.
Did they know about the Atlanta thing though? They didn't know about that yet.
That's what I'm getting to.
Got it.
So she gets out, goes back to work as a booty clapper.
What?
While she's on her shift, you know, good police work, you know, with cameras and everything like that. You know, they do detectives do the investigation. They put 2 and 2 together, and they discover that this was the same car that killed their buddy. So they come to her while she's booty clapping at Candyland and arrest her, and now she's being held without bail, without bond. So
wow.
yeah, 30 years old, getting lit, just hitting folks, just wow.
And I just want this to sink in for a second, because we've been entertained by the severity of everything, but only reason I'm doing this is because of Brother Trey.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Tory. You're like, what are you talking about? Talking about Tory Lanez.
Mm-hmm.
This woman ran over a man and deleted him, whether she knew he was deleted or not.
Right.
She hit someone with her car.
Mm-hmm.
And went to work the next day like nothing happened.
Mm-hmm. Got the bonding out. Yep.
So I'm just putting that out there, like it's still beyond the thought that Miss Stallion could have fabricated this whole pew-pewing of herself.
For sure.
And just go right on about her business and her life, because we see that people are capable of doing that, male and female. It's like sometimes women get this halo put over their heads, like they're infallible and they can't do some of the most heinous things that men are capable of. The facts are right there.
Mm-hmm.
They can. So all of this believe the facts.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
And she was wasted just like Megan was wasted. You know what I'm saying? And
okay.
Was
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
shout out to Wanda. What's up, Miss Torres?
Vehicular homicide. So it's not as bad as a straight up homicide according to the law and the punishment. So we'll see.
And that could be the case, M. That could be the case, M. I'll give that. Because M pointed out the fact she was so loaded, maybe she didn't know.
And I want to get into that real quick. So there was a video I saw not too long ago, and let me know if you saw this video. It's pretty lengthy, and it's a woman. And I'm not to say that any color, anybody who drinks, it has no color to it. It gets wasted. This happened to be a black woman. She. Same situation, same scenario almost. She was leaving a bar. This was at I think this is in Michigan or something like that.
Okay.
And it made World Star like a month ago. She's driving, coming home, and she's so wasted, she ends up crashing her vehicle. And the police show up or whatever, and they put her in the ambulance, take her to the hospital, and then they take her to the police station and they're interviewing her. And she's like, yeah, I had a few drinks or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, well, do you know what happened? She's like, no. She's like, I thought I hit like a dog or something like that, maybe, or whatever. And it's like, she's like, can you please tell me what happened? You're freaking me out. Can you please tell me what happened?
Okay.
We're like, well, you killed like 3 people. So what she ended up doing, she was so wasted. When she was driving back over this bridge, she drives into the pedestrian part of the bridge, the walkway, and she runs over like 3 people, and then goes out on the other side and crashes the vehicle. And she didn't even know it because she was that wasted. She was like, "Oh, I just thought I just hit like an animal or something, like a dog or whatever." So she was just that gone. That she didn't know, and she was just like, I need to call my mama. This woman's in her 40s, late 40s, telling she need to call her mama. I need to call my mama and all kind of shit like that.
You see, you know what? That story does bring a little a different perspective, because now when you call out open bottle of tequila, weed, and Molly and or X, that combination might do it.
Oh, facts.
That combination might do it to be like, I don't know what's going on.
Let's not mention what she may have done, because I'm not a strip club patron, never have been. But I know based off my research, a lot of these women have to get wasted to do their job. They are introduced to all different products in there, and some of them have to get lit like that just to.
Great extra perspective. Great extra perspective. I mean, you know what? Seriously, I mean, I don't mind. I may have been too harsh in this particular instance as far as what she was aware of and what she wasn't. Shout out to Maverick, man. Amazon, dog. I got this for like $20 for going to Comic-Con with my daughter or something last year. Yep, $20. But you right though, dog. I mean, hell, even Players Club. I know that was fictitious. It was a movie, but life, imitating art, imitating life. I mean, that's what goes on, but behind the velvet rope, so to speak, in the green room. Like you said, in order to get the job done, because truth be told, most of them don't want to be doing that long term, especially if they're young and they think it's one thing, and then when they get there, it's like, yeah, bro, this ain't. They gotta numb themselves in order to do it.
Yeah.
And this lady numbed herself all the way out. Like all the way out. Like she's done, bro. Like if she's 30 now, when is she probably gonna get out?
Probably 36, 37, maybe. They may give her like 7 years. What do you think? Like 6, 7 years?
Yeah, I thought it'd be longer than that.
Yeah, I know vehicular homicide. I mean,
and two, please chime in on this, Trey, former law enforcement. What you think? Because I know you've probably seen similar instances like this. I know they're not all the same, but still, just out of curiosity, because I thought she might at least do 10 over it.
I'd say 10 on the high end. I would say, yeah. With all that, whatnot, man. But I know, I mean, there's other factors, I guess, that play into that whole situation. You know what I mean?
Now I definitely feel sorry for the victim, but I feel sorry for her as well. I mean, as far as like what led to being there at what is it, Candyland in the first place?
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
yeah.
And I don't want to get into jumping subjects or whatnot. But it was something I saw an article, and I didn't save it for this, but it was something Charlie Kirk brought up. You know who that is? Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA.
Not off top.
Trey, you know who that is? You might know. Anyway, he's a far right wing, think tank guy, really big in the far right social media, big following. I think Candace Owens worked with him for a little while. But anyway, he was at some conference this weekend. It was about it had a lot of young college, women there at this conference, and a lady asked him, young woman, what should she do if she wanted to have a good career in journalism? And he told her to take her time in college getting a degree in MRS, in Mrs., and just learning how to be a wife.
Yeah.
And I know in our space, and I get it when we're talking about not overspending on education, not taking out $1 quadrillion worth of student loans, as they say, to get a basket weaving degree. I totally get that, and I agree with that. But I also want to caution this overly wanting women to quote unquote be dumb to make them easier to deal with. And in the Charlie Kirk's case, they just want to turn them into baby factories because they're worrying about birth rates.
Ooh.
So they don't care about you going to get an education and all that. We need you to get married up and knocked up so we can stave off this minority shit. We don't want any of that. But on our end, when I say ours in our Black, RP community, we got to understand these ladies got to be able to take care of themselves, because it's not a man for every woman. Even if every one of these women were size 4s and 130 pounds and cooperative and this, that, and the other, in our community alone, they outnumber us by 2 million. So what are those 2 million ladies supposed to do if they don't educate themselves? They go to Candyland. See, that's the reason for me going through that long story or whatever. They end up at Candyland.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's be careful be smart about what you get educated for, and be smart about knowing that don't let your education make you become uncooperative and unagreeable. Because check this out, Miss Patel, Dr. Patel, she has no problems getting PhDs and still being married and maintaining a household. Why is that? because Dr. Patel does not let that doctorate degree change who she is inside of her household. So you can be educated as a woman and still prioritize and have and maintain a family.
Well said. Very well said, for sure. Yeah, stay out of Candyland, ladies. You know, you don't need to be up in there, you know. But yeah,
I feel bad for her, man. I'm like, yo, because I feel it what you said, man. She got numbed out. She had numbed out for work, like she probably always had to do. You said she hit a couple of puppies.
Right. Hit a couple puppies, man. Yo, but wish her the best, man. But yeah, justice must be served. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, in other news, man, we on a little celebrity kick today. You know, did you hear about the homie Tyler Perry?
Again, that was something else I saw going by, but I didn't click it because I thought if I saw it a lot, then that meant that it was something to it. I didn't know if it was one of those clickbait things or not. So what's up with that? Because it's an actual lawsuit?
Yeah, it's an actual lawsuit, man. 260 million to be exact.
I'm laughing at Trey. Trey say Dr. Patel is an anomaly.
An anomaly?
Yeah, I ain't gonna argue with you, Trey. That's why I brought her up. Just to show that it can be done. I know it's not the norm. I know it's not.
For sure. You know, but yeah, Tyler Perry, man, you know, obviously billionaire from my understanding. You know, there's been a lot of things said about the brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 50 Cent came to his defense with these allegations from this guy, Derek Dixon, who was on one of his shows, you know, who happens to be a white gentleman from the Oval, show called The Oval. Which
okay. I was going to say the show. I remember that. I didn't see it, but I remember it.
Yeah, I've never watched it, so I wouldn't recognize Good Buddy. But Good Buddy's he filed this $260 million lawsuit against Tyler Perry, claiming he was SA'd, you know, claiming, you know, the homie tried to rub up against his thigh in bed.
Wait a minute, what bed?
Like, I guess he was staying at his house. He was staying at Tyler's house one night, and said he and you know, if you don't know Christian Keys said that a certain powerful man did the same thing. You know what I mean? And people were assuming it was Tyler as well. But yeah, this guy.
I'm up there like, wait a minute, what bed? How you get to a bed situation?
I guess it's, you know, he was staying at his mansion or whatever.
Okay, I get that, but still, how you get to a bed situation? See, I'm not trying to do the victim blaming stuff, but I'm just like, why are you even in a bed situation? Like, period.
I guess he must have had a party and he spent the night there.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he said that Tyler grabbed him by his throat and asked if he likes it rough in bed, you know, things like that. So he's basically also something along the lines of, which he's got text messages, but none, which I'm going to show you some of the text messages.
Oh, okay.
None of these things show Tyler explicitly saying, he was saying some weird stuff to the guy based off these text messages, if they're true, which I'm assuming they were submitted to court. So
they were. Okay. All right. Yeah, so these are actual court submitted.
Yeah.
All right. Text messages. All right.
There's
no AI here, baby Bubba. Yeah. Okay.
So and some of them are like kind of like but yeah, it's like I don't see anything overtly you know, where he's trying to you know, get at him. But you know, Buddy's on, you know, it's like a lot of this stuff coming out. But yeah, let's pull up some of these messages here.
Hey, that's what I said, Case. I'm like, how do we get to a bad scenario? Let's start there.
So this is Good Buddy right here for those of you who may know Derek or don't know Derek Dixon here. And that's Tyler Perry on the left for those of you who don't know Tyler. Now there's a lot of people that's been saying stuff about Tyler, you know, for years. You know, especially here in Atlanta, folks saying stuff about him, or whatever, similar to what they were saying about Diddy. You know what I mean? Some of the things, not to that extent.
Yeah.
So here's some of the text messages here, which I don't know if you can really see them too well, but you know, Tyler, he's in the blue.
Okay.
Tyler's in the gray. You know what I mean? Or black, if you will, as
Okay.
far as the text messages. So Derek Dixon is in the blue,
All
Tyler's in the
right.
blue. So he's going on saying stuff, and I'm gonna just go over a few of these because I don't,
Yes, please.
brevity's sake. So he's like, I can call you later or tomorrow. And you see a lot of these messages, Tyler's like reaching out to him, trying to speak to him, and then he's
Mhm.
like saying how he's, you know, it's just it's the banter back and forth seems kind of weird, but
Mhm.
Tyler, tells him, you have a fresh voice and a take on things. I don't know where this is going, but I laughed the entire time.
Okay.
Right, help you make these shows work. And it's kind of like he's giving them advice, being a good mentor on a lot of these.
Professional.
Yeah, but some of them get kind of weird, which we'll get into. Amon gets here tomorrow, so he's got my full attention. I'll be trapped until the day after Christmas, so let's talk. Okay, right, and we just had a heaping dose of it. It's really weird. What are you talking about? I've been touched. Okay, so this is Tyler saying, I didn't have any contact. What are you talking about? I haven't been touched in months. Derek says, oh, you mean touching though? You meant being around people. He says, Jacob, whoever the fuck Jacob is. I love that you're only say that when I'm being stupid. LOL. I guess the Jacob's dumbass version of me. Not. I don't know what the hell that is.
Something's redacted.
Blonde. Yeah. It was they blocked it. Yeah, redacted. Blocked it out. I know what I cooked, Derek. Spaghetti cake. You don't. I'm so drunk talking shit. What's it going? This is Tyler in the gray. Because what's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have y'all found that in therapy? Yes, it's the exact same kind of car, Geo Metro. He said, Derek says, giving up my religious guilt, becoming a Buddhist. That's so cool. Where are you in? I don't know where you came from. He said, unfortunately, Derek, I have friends who are in their 50s, 60s. So this is kind of like, him not saying, he's just saying, have some guiltless sex, bro, which I still is, whatever. Literally thinks, I'm trying to get to the good stuff. Yeah, man, make it clear, well, only could have gotten that from you. Okay. I'll only say yes if it gets me an Oscar. So this is the weird part, right?
Okay.
Where he talks about, yes, you need to learn to say no. Well, I don't think that, but I do think that you have to be able to say no and mean it and make it clear. Tyler's telling him that in terms of, telling people no and shit. But he says, I only say yes if it gets me an Oscar. That means I'm willing to give up the cheeks if it gets me an Oscar. And he says, I hear you. Tyler says, well, the only one who could have gotten that for you through sex is in prison. So just stick to the no unless you are really into him. Wow. Okay.
But now it seems like they talking about somebody else though.
Could
like
be.
It could be a third dude that I don't damn know. But I will say what I get out of this is this person, this Dickler dude. What's his name? Dixon, whatever.
Yeah.
Derek Dixon.
Derek Dixon. Yeah.
He definitely made himself available and was playing the part of the game. And it's like, that's the stuff that we notice and that's consistent if we're talking about quote unquote female opportunities.
Right. Exactly. For the money.
So this is what I see out of this.
So let's get into this. So he says, I'm working on it. Therapy is helping. Tyler, this is what Tyler says, which I found to be weird right here.
Okay.
Why did that photo make me jealous? You two together. He says, haha, I don't know. It's just Brad, LOL. LOL. He just wanted to go for a quick walk to get his steps in, and now I'm walking to Chipotle by myself, LOL. This dude says, thick Derek. Get that Chipotle. Which some may view it as suspect, thick Derek or whatever, or maybe just being funny, Haha, can you tell from the photo? No, I can't. Only from your jeans. Which I wouldn't say no shit like that to another man. But
she went genuine on that. No jeans. Exactly.
That, and as a man, you receiving that, I'll be like, yo, like you bantering, ha, how I measure too. If I'm not filling them out, a man filling out jeans, I mean, come on. I don't know if this dude is gay in real life, so I can't.
It's something. That's why I say at one point it seemed like they was talking about somebody else in that other segment of text you sent. Then He was like, "Why was that picture you and Brad making me jet?" Like, there's a bunch of these undertones. Yeah. So it's something. But again, the point is, whatever it is, this Derek dude is participating, and it let me
Exactly.
know how
Yes.
he ended up in a situation in the bed, which was my question in the first place. And again, yes, you can say no, stop, and all of that stuff at any time. That's how consent works. But now I understand you definitely were in the realm for a reason.
Right. And playing along and talking
Mhm.
about how thick you are and you feel.
Yeah, so now I want to, because my thing is, if you didn't want any of those comments and stuff, you would have been like, whoa, let's stop this right
Yeah,
here.
cut all that shit out, man. I don't play
Exactly,
like that.
but you didn't. But you didn't. I'm curious to see what happens with the case, because I want to see if it gets thrown out or not.
Right. He says right. But yes, I want that too. I'm working on it. Therapy is helping. Not that person. Just saying. I feel sorry. So Tyler says, I feel sorry for the person that you choose, and I won't even take an aspirin from someone anymore. Ha ha ha. I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't cry if that wasn't so funny. What I mean by that is that you're so beautiful. When you finally are able to unlock your mind, you're going to make that person crazy. So maybe that's, again, there, as you said, there's back and forth banter.
Mm-hmm.
But as a man saying to another man, I get the case. We talking about for lawsuit purposes, but I'm also talking about the stuff that Tyler's saying, like him saying you being jealous of a man in another photo.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
No, I mean that's there. I mean it's there in the words. You see what that is.
Yeah.
You see what that is. But the thing is, I want to know what happens with the case, because this Derek stuff looks flimsy.
Fact.
To me, it looks like you were almost quote unquote flirting back. So that's why I'm like, come on, man.
So on here, the second one, how do they make at the top right? How do they make money then? Subscriptions? He said they make money from the advertising, lots of money. I love how I feel right now, but I don't like being horny. Testosterone, right? Like again, as you say, flirting back, man to man, doing some shit like this. Straight men. Anyway. Oh yeah, but it makes you feel better. He says, I feel good, but I don't like being horny. I feel sorry for the first person that flirts with me. LOL. You don't even understand. Tried you. Call me. Tell him, dude, call him. He said, I think the hangover hit me harder than I thought. Can we talk later? Yes, it was quick, but okay. Really need to talk to you, my friend. Please call as soon as you can. He's kind of pushing Tyler off, pushing off this billionaire, right? Did you find a place? And that's where the shit gets all blurry and shit. And he's like, I'm drunk, I want to talk to you, and all this shit like that. All kind of crazy shit. So this is some stuff, like a lot of these text messages is not like, treat myself right. What are you doing, Derek? Just talking to my sister. I roll. Fine. Good night. I'll go through the 600 people in my phone book and be annoyed that I don't want to talk to any of them. Trying to get off so I can go to sleep. I understand. LOL, apparently you're the only one that's been drinking tonight. I just started. So it's just like some weird stuff, some weird men flirting or whatever. But like you said, it's not a case, but I guess a lot of his stuff is just being exposed.
It's like somebody said, and maybe D-Rick has some more receipts, and this is just the little stuff on it. He got some real hardcore SA receipts. Yo, I couldn't breathe.
Yo, the latest headline yesterday, and we'll see like these salacious headlines, was he said Tyler told him that he has a Big Johnson. And he said, I like dealing with bottoms because once you hit the G spot on these bottoms, they go
okay, so
they go crazy. He said Tyler said that, but we don't see any,
Oh, okay. All right. That must be the big receipts D-Rick is holding on to.
But even so, that's still, how's that grounds? Even if he did say, I like to clap another man's cheeks, like, what is that? This is jargon. I'm just telling the homie, like, well, I'm just that's what I like doing. I like, clapping up the bottoms, and I got a Big Johnson, you know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at your face, but go ahead, say what's on your.
I know. I was laughing at It's Me Lil C, and she said, "Oh, D-Rick thought he was texting Medea."
Oh yeah, thought he was texting Medea for sure. Good night. Man, hey,
Okay, so let me ask you a serious question.
go ahead.
Is at one point when you were reading the text message, it was at the very end, and I
Right.
don't and folks in the chat, let me know if you noticed this. JR dropped off like some straight up voiceover acting. Did y'all catch it? Like one of the last lines he read it in like a nice, you know what I'm saying, almost deep, heavy breathing TP voice, you know, that had got into the moment. So with that being said, you know, we know that you kick out of here and you hit your acting classes, right? You know what I'm saying, in preparation to bigger and better things, you know what I'm saying, with the word of wisdom. So my question to you, my main man, TP, want to work with the Wiz. What you gonna do?
So here's my thing, man. Because I've met people who've been like, who've done feature roles from acting class, who've done feature roles with Tyler Perry. I've heard people who've done feature roles, and it's, how do I put it? Because I've heard some things, and I don't know. I've heard what his type is. And I'm gonna say, Paul, it's been told to me several times that, pause again. I'm gonna say pause. You know,
doing a lot of pausing.
He's from New Orleans.
Okay.
And if you know anything about people from New Orleans and Louisiana,
Creole, baby.
Yeah. So I was told several times that that's the type. You know, if you know who Christian Keys is, right?
Not off top.
I'm gonna pull up Christian Keys, right? So, for lack of a better term,
if he need that 21 Jump Street Puerto Rican detective, I need that detective, Mr. Wisdom.
And I'm gonna answer your question here, but I'm gonna just show you. So Christian Keys has a show called All the King's Men, right? Christian Keys was the same one, and I'm not saying. You see it? You see this is Christian Keys, right? So allegedly, not allegedly, Christian Keys said something a couple years ago that there was a high-profile man who he considered a brother hopped in his bed also. So now he's going viral again.
Understood.
You know what I mean? And he said that this guy tried to make a move on him, and a lot of people were saying that it was Tyler, but Christian never confirmed nor denied.
Understood.
So somebody said, was it Tyler? He said it. No, somebody was like, it can't be Tyler because Tyler gave him the show of all the Queen's Men, which is his show about male strippers, right?
Okay.
He commented back and said, I have not ruled anyone out. Which, if you're my homie, right? If QT Dub is my homie, and somebody
like, no, it's not him.
Yeah, somebody said QT Dub did it. And I say I'm not going to confirm nor deny, or I'm not going to confirm or deny, or I'm not ruling QT Dub out. I would be like, yo, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like, yeah. I get that. Yeah,
you would hit me up, be like, yo, what are you talking about? You make me think it's me.
Because the one thing you would do, you'd be like, I can tell you for a fact who it is not. It's not that individual,
right? But
yeah, to keep them in the group of possible people, and you know what I mean, and not completely absolve them.
Exactly. You know. Yeah, especially my homie. I'm not gonna be like you said. I'd be like, nah, it's not him. But basically, I'm gonna say this about Tyler Perry films. I don't think that they, in my opinion, unless you already made it prior to doing Tyler Perry's films, I don't see any of those people ever going anywhere. They get stuck in that black cinema of doing those type of flicks, which I get it if the money's good, but I don't think he's ever made, and it's no disrespect to him because he's making money, he's got a niche, but I don't think anybody who's ever really done those things have made it into mainstream.
You know, as far, I mean, to piggyback on what you're saying, it's like I think the bigger people already had somewhat of a mainstream presence, or like your Tarajis and folks like that. But as far as it going vice versa, an unnamed actor starting on his projects, whether it be in TV or movies, and then really hitting that next echelon, I can't think of an example right off top.
I can't.
But to be honest, I mean, but going back to what you're saying though, having a steady lineup of them, Tubi content can't be that bad either, though. You know what I mean? It's, as far as like not working in the business at all. So
that is true. It's better than not working, but I just feel like it's just I feel like once you get in that, you just get stuck because I never see them go anywhere. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And there's no disrespect to Tyler and what he's doing. I'm glad he gives people opportunities who
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't otherwise get opportunities. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
dope. You know what I mean? Um, but I feel like if you start with that, I feel like that's where you're gonna end. You know what I mean? So that's what I've noticed. You know what I mean? So I would really, even though I'm a nobody in terms of the acting world, I don't know. I would have to,
See,
think
I
about
like now on the flip side, I'm putting in my money on acting classes and doing all of that work or whatever. TP hit the phone up, I'm picking up. My only thing is I'm just not coming to your house with nobody else.
Yeah, that's definitely
That's
a no-no.
my thing. I'm doing everything. I'm showing up to all the stuff, but any gatherings at your house has got to be group gatherings.
But you got to think a lot of these people, man, just like they talk about the Illuminati, the Harvey Weinsteins, the casting couches. When somebody is telling you and they're offering you the potential to become a star,
Stara.
a star,
Stara.
and they telling you this, and you're like, yo, I can do this if you do this. Like, majority of people are gonna go for it, bro. The majority of people are gonna go for it. Even if you have to be, and I'm not saying that again. I'm not saying that's the case with Tyler. Tyler said he was a straight man. You know what I'm saying? He got,
Facts, Trey.
So
Everywhere.
Wife or hired wife will be there. Okay. It's crazy. Because you see people working with Adam Sandler. It seems like they always being recognized. Yeah, Adam Sandler puts his people on, but I think
great point.
Adam Sandler is more mainstream than Tyler.
Oh, hell yeah.
Tyler Perry has
hell yeah. He's a niche. Like if this was YouTube, Adam Sandler would be and we're talking RP, Adam Sandler would be regular RP.
Right.
And Tyler Perry would be black RP. It's
right.
like he's a niche.
And in those text messages, Tyler Perry says that. He was like, I have my niche. And I'm paraphrasing what he said in some of those text messages. He was like, I have my niche. I don't concern myself about what other people do. When they complain about the movie like Straw, like somebody said in there, or all these other movies where it's the black woman struggling and all this stuff like that. I don't want to say pandering. He's catering to his niche. That's what they want to see. So,
dude, it is, and it's funny that you say that because if you think about it, YouTube tries to make you do that.
Right.
Especially as a small channel, and you knew it's like when you'll make a bunch of videos that hardly anybody will see, and then you'll get one that gets a bunch of views. And then what YouTube wants you to do is keep making that same video over and over and over again, like a version of it, because you'll follow it up with a different video that's kind of similar, and YouTube would be like, no impressions. We want you to do it. And the next thing you know, you are a channel that makes the same content. Oh, and it's like, yeah, that's what we want you to do because that's what our algorithm is going to recognize. We know where to place you, know where to put you. That Tyler's like, I know where to be placed and know where to be put. Exactly. I've been doing it for a long time. And
independent.
And with him at the top of the food chain, see, it's different if you're just niche, like you were saying, as a new actor into that niche. But he's at the top of the food chain in that niche.
Right.
So he's not the actor, he's the production house. And that's good eating. Because from the days of going, doing what he's doing now at plays, he was raking in the dough from that audience. He knows what that audience wants, and he continues to give it to him. He's a great content creator.
There you go.
He's a great content creator.
You got you can't argue with that. And I don't, if the man didn't become a billionaire, like you said, by just not knowing what the hell he's doing. I mean, like I said, have you watched that documentary, his documentary? Because if you haven't,
I didn't know he had one. What is it on?
It came out last year. Let me look it up real quick. It's named after his mother. I forgot his mother's name. Tyler Perry documentary. Maxine's Baby.
Okay, Max, you're right. It is at a cost. It is at a cost, at a community cost. But that's a whole nother show.
I think it's on Prime. Yeah.
Okay.
On Prime. Let me type in Maxine's Baby. The Tyler Perry story. Okay, because it normally shows what all it's playing on, but some reason, but it is what it is. I know it's on Prime. But I think it's, you know, if you got a Prime membership, you can watch it on there. You know, but bro didn't become a billionaire by not. I don't know why this thing is like cutting up like this. This is so fucking strange. Okay, I got all these windows open from restarting this thing, and for some reason, okay, well, off Tyler Perry, man, we'll see what happens. I don't think it's really going anywhere. I agree with you on that.
Like, good luck, Dixon.
Good luck, Derek Dixon. You know, they say when your career is over, man, you just try to grasping for straws or try to get anything when the money runs out. A lot of times, is what you got to do. But
I know y'all fine people did it already, but if you didn't and you came in a little bit later, please hit that like button. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Please and thank you.
Yeah, hit that like button, man. This is the greatest show on YouTube.
Ever.
You know what I'm saying? For sure. So make sure you guys hit that like button. I'm just pushing this thing forward. So in other news, bro, did you hear about what happened with Joey Crack?
No, man, what cracking up to? And I'm talking about, I had not heard anything about him at all. So please update me, fine sir. Can you drop some of that wisdom in the AM on Joey Crack?
Yeah, Joey Crack. You know, he's been, you know, and I like Fat Joe because he tells entertaining stories. I don't, you know, so much. I got a few of his songs like this music or whatever. But he tells great stories, especially about his background and past, which a lot of people think are embellished and either or cap, for lack of a better term. But yeah, Joey Crack, man. Let me see. Do I have this thing open?
Trey crazy today. He loving this Friday, boy. Lawsuits on a new divorce. This show about to get cooked.
Yeah, Joe.
Please tell me about this.
Let's pull it up here, man. So he's getting hit up by a former hype man of his. You know, former hype man is suing Joey Crack for $20 million. He's not in the 100 millions. He's hitting them up for, you know, 20 million at this point.
Smitty, I don't know why Crack is making me laugh so hard. Joey Crack. Eminem said he better leave the eyeliner alone.
Oh, the beard line, the eyeliner.
He said, "Yeah, that's what Eminem said."
Yeah. So, Fat Joe sued for $20 million by former hype man in explosive complaint. Alleges rapper engaged in X acts with, you know, minors and coerced him into more than 4,000 X acts to maintain his standing.
Wow.
Also, not the rapper sued T.A. Dixon in April for slandering him on social media by claiming Crack flew a 16-year-old across state lines for X, right? So, wow. My man said, the coercive labor exploitation, financial fraud, X manipulation, violent intimidation, and psychological coercion. Now, when these men, again, going back to what I was talking about earlier, when these men say other men are making them do stuff and they stick around for 20 plus years, you know, doing such things, and then when stuff happens, it's a 157-page thing. For 16 years, Dixon served as Fat Joe's hype man.
How many years?
16.
How many?
16.
6. Facts, Trey. Yeah. Not yet, Con Honey. We ain't hit Antonio yet. 16 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also contributed as a lyricist and background vocalist on such hits as Congratulations, Ice Cream, and M.O.B. Right?
All right.
He said, let's see, Department of Homeland Security, you know, all this stuff was coming about, that Fat Joe forced him into these humiliating acts. Performed under duress and surveillance, accompanied by threats of abandonment in foreign countries if he refused to comply.
Bro, I'll leave your ass.
Man. Most shockingly, the suit claims that Dixon personally witnessed Fat Joe engage in X relations with children who were 15 and 16.
Thank you, Eminem. How old? 15 and 16.
Yeah, Jane Doe's he lists 3 Jane Doe's in New York.
And I'm okay, do you mind if I pause you for a second?
Yeah.
Because of course I was at first joking about the 16 years. And I kept asking you that because it was, joking about the fact that if you had something happen, and like you said, as a man, how are you there for 16 years? It's like nobody wants to hear about what you were making as far as money because you should have a price for that. Okay.
Right.
But here's the other thing. Never mind yourself. How do you witness this quote unquote alleged 15, 16-year-old stuff and you come to work the next day?
You said, how do you what?
How do you witness alleged 15 and 16-year-olds
and don't say nothing?
And not only not say anything, but you come to work the next day and the day after that and the week after that, year after that, year after that. But now you want to be compensated for ignoring these folks, these children.
Yeah.
You want the court to compensate you
for
turning a blind eye when it was beneficial to you. Now you want to doubly benefit on it. Get the hell out of here, bro. Thanks for the information, but kick rocks.
Yeah. That is crazy. I know all this.
Think about that. Think about that. You said nothing. You help contribute. You might as well pull their pants down.
Definitely complicit, or participate.
I feel you, Trey. I feel you. Please continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem, man.
I don't like that though, because I'm with Trey. The same thing with the Diddy stuff. I don't care about the freak offs and the oil and all of that, and eating the guy manginas and all of that. That stuff is funny, but what's not funny is minors.
Yeah, definitely not,
because they don't get a chance to make their decisions. And again, you may also with these actions contribute to them being at the candy club.
There you go.
And now I ran over some puppies.
Cold world, man. But yeah, so it's 16-year-old Dominican and a white girl around the same age, 15 years old, where he would basically pay cash clothing payments of cell phone bills, and they would perform these acts. Candy. And 15-year-old
candy. Here's some candy, little girl.
So he's got that. He's putting all that in there, and then he's got other ones. So New York, due to minor Doe 2 body being adolescent, not fully formed, defendant paid for her to get a BBL. Minor 2 eventually left defendant and is now married to a professional athlete. The complaint says minor 3 is a Latina female who met the defendant when she was 15, 16, turning 16. Defendant was in love with minor 3. He even contemplated leaving his wife. So this dude telling all this stuff, So his attorney responded too, though, saying that and I had read something about that with Fat Joe, saying they had said they sued the attorney that's representing this guy in the past. You know what I mean? About this stuff, but we'll see what comes of it, man. You know what I mean? All this stuff is allegedly, obviously, from what he's saying, but it's always when you have disgruntled employees, like you said, that may be complicit in these things, and then when they get mad or they ain't not getting the money, or they're not doing too well, whether it occurred or not, now all of a sudden you want to say something. I'm totally with you what you said, man. But let's move on, man.
I'm like, let's get off the kids. That's depressing.
Exactly. Let's get off of that, man. So I know we talked about this, a while back, about this whole initiative that Trump put out about, if you're illegal, you got the ability to self-deport along with $1,000 for your troubles. You can go to your local airport and they'll get you taken care of. So there's an update on, how this has been going. So we're gonna go ahead and share that one real quick.
I gotta let the maintenance dude in right quick. They changing
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Things right quick. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'll be right back.
You're fine. I'll go ahead and pull this up while you're doing that. So, guys, for those of you who don't know, and you guys probably been seeing in the news about this self-deportation thing, that if you're illegal in the States, let me change up the music real quick. I know it's been playing here. You got the option to do that. And so far, there's been nearly 1 million illegal immigrants have self-deported rather than, they're taking their fate in their own hands instead of waiting for ICE to get them or for them to be caught somehow. So, according to reports, while ICE arrests make headlines, Trump is quietly running a separate deportation program encouraging illegal immigrants to leave voluntarily, and it may be surprisingly effective. One way to track its impact is through employment data. A financial analyst cited by the Wall Street Journal estimated a drop of 773,000 in the immigrant population during the first 4 months of Trump's return. The Washington Post reports that 1 million foreign-born workers have exited the workforce since March. While the Post calls it a sign of weakening labor supply, it also notes average hourly wages rose by 0.4% in May to $36.24, outpacing inflation and boosting workers' spending power. The Center for Immigration Studies estimated 15.4 million illegal aliens. Damn. The Center for Immigration Studies estimates 15.4 million illegal aliens now live in the United States, up 50% under Biden. Wow. You heard that? You heard that, QT Dub, man?
I did. Yeah.
15 million estimated. Damn. Almost 16 million. Sheesh. Nearly 1 million illegal immigrants have self-deported. I was waiting to read something about like actual like the stats at the airports.
Oh, as far as like how many were showing up there and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's just saying self-deported here by the drop in employment is what they're going off. What I'm gathering from this, I'm
just waiting to the end result.
You say you're waiting to the end result.
When mission is accomplished and everybody gets what they want out of this.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens. Because they paused it for a second and then they went back because I think Ashley Matt had it down there in the comments because some of the big manufacturers and stuff been having like no production because everybody was scared to come to work. And so as this keeps being more and more successful and this keeps popping up in different industries, I'm just curious to see what happens after that. Because it's, of course, not just the service industry and the farming industry, but we also talking construction. And you know that from your real estate time. I mean, construction margins are not that big when you talk about cost to build homes and then turning around and selling them. Yeah, see, Eminem almost at a halt in some areas. And the thing is when it's not like we don't have domestic people that are capable of doing these things, it's just that we know that we're going to cost more. Bro, Eminem, that and it roofing, bro. Like one afternoon, clack, 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 cloud. Give me my 5 G's and be on your way. That's not going to be what it is now. Okay. What can we do? Okay, I'm looking at Trey's comment now. They could have fixed production easily if they work for a company. Just expedite the process for them and have the. See, Trey, you talking reforms like actual common sense stuff that. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. It's because the thing is, it's not like there's not a necessity, but there does need to be an organized, structured way about how we monitor this. And as far as the in and the out, how many, in per year and how many out. The problem is the movement has been co-opted for something other than efficiency of monitoring individuals coming in and out of the country, staving off crime, drugs, et cetera, et cetera. There's an underlying other motive to it. And that's the part that's co-opting, the whole movement. But when you're talking about what you're saying, having, an expedited process for employment, because there are industries tied to it. And then, be that as it may, the problem can actually be them. And when I say them, I'm saying, let's say ex-immigrants, those that self-deported, so those that got kicked out, and say it's 2028 and the full effect has been made, and we as a whole now want to reverse course and quote unquote recruit / welcome, because I don't know if you remember they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Remember that?
Yeah.
They're like some Haitian immigrants or some kind of immigrant. Did you see? We all knew about that headline, but what we didn't know was that Springfield actually recruited them to come live there because so many of their citizens had moved out. They needed workers in their plants. That was the part we didn't hear about. What we heard about was like they just came and bum rush that Springfield town.
Right.
So my thing is, Spring man, Eminem, you on it. So my point is, if we fast forward 3 years from now, and then we start being like, oh, we want to welcome our Southern homies back because we need them. What if they recognize their economic power at that point? And they like, no, we're coming back, but we're going to work for the same thing y'all are going to do it for. What happens then?
Got to pay them. Unless you can do it yourself.
And again, we can do it ourselves, but we're not going to do it for that same cost. So you can't get you can't get your roof repaired for 5 G's. Can't get that new deck for $3,000.
Right. I feel you, man. So we gonna move on because I don't want to keep this too long. Have you heard about Kells?
I did, about the alleged self-deletion attempt. That
was it self-deletion or assassination? Because
I don't know which. I just know something about him almost not being here.
Yeah, him almost not being here.
Yes,
because his reps. Well, let's pull it up. Are saying it was a assassination attempt on the homie. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, 51 minutes ago. Okay. So yeah, USA Today. So let's go ahead and pull this up here.
And why he pulling that up? I know, and I get it because it is fun and games, and it is some seriousness a little bit too. JR, be going on the numbers of who's in here or whatever, whatnot. But I'm gonna say this: you mofos that do be in here, y'all show up. Trey, Eminem, Miss Ashley, Con Honey, y'all show up and y'all be engaged, and I make love it. I just wanted to say that.
Make love it.
And I make love it. Yeah, so we're gonna let JR continue now. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, so the homie Kells, right? So recently, the homie had an overdose on a drug here while he was in prison. He's serving a 30-year sentence. Kells is 58 years old, right? And Butner, I remember Butner from Fort Bragg, Butner, North Carolina, where he's serving it out, right?
Okay.
So a couple days ago, or 3 days ago, because today's what, the 20th? They filed a motion for the homie to, be at home detention. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Instead of serving it in the Fed spot.
Okay.
So what happened was, and they denied it. Obviously, that motion
denied.
Said it was Picoles didn't take a side on Kelly's claim that his alleged overdose was a murder plot by the Bureau of Prisons, which they are trying to say it was, right? The attorneys alleged that after being placed in solitary confinement setting earlier this month, prison staff provided him an overdose quantity of medication compared to his normal anxiety and sleep medication doses, leading to his hospitalization. They also claim that Kelly was sent to Duke University Hospital and then removed allegedly against medical advice by law enforcement officials, as he was also seeking treatment for blood clots. You know what I mean? And the Bureau of Prisons declined to comment based off of that, that all-encompassing pending litigation. Right? So, Kells, looks like you're not getting out, good buddy. That 30 years, Fed time, Man.
So what do you think, though? Do you think Kels tried to over self-medicate, or
think so,
did you
man.
think they gave him the quote unquote wrong amount?
I think so, bro. I think he tried to self-medicate, man.
Because I mean, a lot of times, and Trey can speak to this, I'm sure, on the day-to-day, activity in those places. Sometimes they may pay attention to make sure you actually take/swallow the medicine in front of them at that time. But a lot of times they just kind of give it to you and you be on your way, next man up. So you can easily have it in your jaw or whatever and have 3 or 4 days worth of meds saved up and then take them all away. I mean, so it is plausible. I'm just wondering which one actually happened.
And I think
like somebody try to Epstein, my man.
Yeah. And orally, like you taking it orally, pause. You taking this, so I think what your dosage is. He's not that dumb, I know he can't read, but R. Kelly's not that.
Please,
I mean, he said he can't read.
I know, but
but you know how many pills you're supposed to be taking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not that slow to say I didn't know how many pills they tried to, unless they gave you a different
kind or something.
A different kind or a different strength or whatever,
milligrams
or dosage, whatever in the pill. Which I doubt it, but I just think it was something him trying to get up out of there, man. You know what I mean? This dude, he's been down 2-3 years now.
Yeah,
something like that. 30 years is a long time, bro. To be doing that. So it didn't work. At the end of the day, and I'm pretty sure
it didn't work.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure from now on they're gonna be monitoring him.
Oh yeah,
to prevent that, to make sure, hey, this is your
or you don't get any. You like, it was just sleep medication anyway. They're like, hell, you'll fall asleep eventually.
Exactly. Sorry, Kels, man.
Sorry, Kels.
I don't want to get into the Diddy stuff because I don't even think there was, other than them saying.
Because Kyle Honey asked about it, you want to do the Antonio recap? Right
Go ahead and hop on that. I know you say you got something.
It's a little video. I hadn't even seen all of it. I want to see what they're talking about. Something at a celebrity boxing match. Let's get this. Let me share screen and get this queued up. Since Miss Honey shared, she hung in here long enough to see what's going on with him. I think Eminem brought it to our attention last week as well. Am I sharing?
Yeah, let me remove this one first so I can do that. There we go.
Oh, okay. I think I have it queued up. So let's just go ahead and start this.
The time Brown was detained but not arrested. He even tweeted a statement.
NFL star Antonio Brown is wanted on an attempted murder charge stemming from an incident several weeks ago at a celebrity boxing event.
Let's get to Ari Adzer, who joins us live from the Miami Police Department with those details for us. Hey, Ari.
Hey guys, so a little bit of background first. Antonio Brown is a local guy. He went to Norland High School, played for several NFL teams. He was an all-pro wide receiver, but he's had several brushes with controversy in his career, including one time quitting on his team in the middle of a game. But this is by far the most serious issue that he's had to deal with. On Wednesday, a judge signed an arrest warrant for him on a second-degree attempted murder charge.
What? Somebody letting the hammer go.
According to that arrest warrant, Brown fired the shots that you just heard. It happened during a chaotic scuffle last month at a boxing event in Little Haiti. At the time, Brown was detained but not arrested. He even tweeted a statement saying that he did nothing wrong, that he was jumped by a group of men who he said tried to steal his jewelry, and that he was looking into his legal options. Now he needs a criminal defense lawyer. The warrant says Brown grabbed a gun from the holster of a security guard and then ran at the guy who he was fighting, a man who he had just exchanged punches with, and fired 2 shots at him but missed. And the warrant says much of what happened is captured on security camera and cell phone videos. Now, at this point, we do not know if Brown has surrendered himself. We don't know if he's going to do what the warrant says. The judge ordered him to pay $10,000 bond money and then stay on house arrest until his trial. But we have no indication from Miami police that has happened yet, or whether he's going to turn himself in today, or whether they're going to have to go and arrest him. And we'll stay on this and keep you posted later. We're live in Miami. Ari Adzer, NBC6 News.
And I don't know if he's turned himself in at this point, but I'm gonna tell you what I do know. I would watch that on damn Tubi. TP, go pick that up. My man got the squabbling over his chain with 2 or 3 Negroes, all right, Jason Statham style.
Yeah.
Okay, security shows up. Then he go Liam Nielsen. I got a set of unique skills. Pull the strap off the guard. Come on, bro. Come on, man. JR.
Because at first I thought it was his, but it come to find out it's the security guard.
Yo, you pulled it off the security guard. Yo, you almost Netflix worthy. Like, forget Tubi.
Yeah.
You need to go see if you can play a security guard. Be in the shot.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's you know, he's even though some people don't think he is, he's an intelligent guy. So I'm pretty sure he's, you know, figuring some shit out, you know. Even though obviously they released him until they gathered the facts and they presented the evidence, the detectives presented the evidence to the judge, and the judge signed off on the warrant for attempted murder, though. You know, hey, you know, I guess the facts will come out where he fired the weapon at, if he fired it at them or if he just shot it in the air.
And the sad part is, I think, and if somebody wanted to be somebody, but if prosecutors and Trey, correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, the prosecution, not the judge.
If the prosecutors wanted to be super creative, he probably could be charged with even reckless endangerment with all of the other, because there's so many other people around when he started letting the weapon off like that. It was interesting that when the fight scuffle thing started and before the reporter got to talking about it, I was already wondering, I'm like, why is he out there with all that jewelry on? And that's what he was fighting about.
Yeah, a lot of them guys be having security though. When they have their own security, but I guess because they was providing for the event. Was that Aiden Ross's? I think it might have been Aiden Ross event.
Yeah.
Hey man, I don't know.
Trey said definitely more charges coming.
Yeah, freedom. I guess sometimes, man, when it comes to the limelight and freedom, you know, folks don't value freedom and protecting, you know, who knows what's going on in their mind. But I can't see it, bro. I can't see taking a chance when you're at this level, just the shenanigans. You know? So I don't know, man. But we'll see what happens if they dismiss it or if he ends up, you know, whatever. So yeah, shout out to
maybe he gets something lesser. You know what I'm saying? You know, then attempted M word, because you know that's pretty. You think they dropped that though?
I mean, they dropped. You know, in the first 48, you ever watched the thing on it? Cases are often charges are often dropped. You know, you never know, man. You know,
I'm gonna try to keep up with it, y'all. So we'll find out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, shout out to AB, man. You know, but moving on, man. I think we already covered our politics and whatnot. 28 days later, did you watch the first one? 28 days.
I did. I watched Days and Weeks, you know, back in the day. And
so this is a trilogy.
This is the third. Yeah. So this is if I'm assuming this is 28 months, right?
Let me look at this shit. I thought it was 28. Let me see. 28 years later. What is it? 20. Damn. So it's 28 years. So it was days. Hold on. Damn. I didn't know that. I'm all behind.
Right. Okay. So years. Yeah. Okay. Millennia.
Yeah. So it was 28 days, then weeks.
Then weeks, and now years.
Damn. Yeah.
Oh, we could get to it. I'm like, I don't even care this morning, Eminem. We could get to it. I had some more sports stuff anyway.
Oh yeah, Game 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, 28. If you guys want to watch, I think that's new this week. If you guys want to check out, it came out last night. Definitely premiering officially today. 28 years later, which is a trilogy. I believe it takes place in the UK, right?
I think so. This
was it zombie shit.
Yeah.
So you guys can check that out if you are into zombie movies and stuff like that. Apocalyptic, stuff. Go ahead and check that out. Game 6 though.
Hey, Nostradamus, J.R. Wisdom. He called it, y'all. He said the series would be 7. Like from the game 1, he said it was going to be 7.
For sure.
It was the most profitable thing to do.
I think
so here we are,
man. I think OKC is taking it in Game 7 though. That's just my opinion.
You do? Okay. Yeah. At home.
Yeah, I think they got it, bro.
I think Pace upset them.
Yeah.
At the crib. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Game 7 is that tomorrow?
I do not know.
Let's see.
Show you how much I've been keeping up with it. Besides, after they play the games and watching the highlights, I have not watched one of them live. Sunday, says Sir Trey. Thank you, sir.
Got shout out. Sunday. So we'll see what happens, man. What else is going on this week? Juneteenth weekend. So
well, I'll tell you. You brought up Final Destination Bloodlines about 2 shows ago, and I finally
3 of them. Yeah,
3 shows ago.
4,
I finally saw it.
Yeah, what'd you think of it?
And it was interesting. I'm not a very superstitious person, but I had access to watch it like last week, right?
Did you rent it, or did you go?
No, it's just some streaming thing I have that
you don't want to speak on.
You know what I'm saying? And so, but I wouldn't look at it because my daughter was on her senior trip to London and Paris and Barcelona and all that stuff, right? Yeah. So if you remember the original Final Destination, what happened? It was high school kids going to Paris.
Correct.
So I'm like, yeah, I don't need that on my brain until after she back. So she got back, and so I watched it. But bro, I like how they did this movie because they like, if you're watching this movie, you've watched a lot of the Final Destination movies before.
Yes.
So you know how this goes, you know the rules. So I'm saying this, I'm not going to do any spoiler stuff, but I'm saying this for you guys that if you do like Final Destination movies, you haven't seen them in a while, you're going to want to watch this last one because they made this movie for us that's watched all the other ones because they try their damnedest to fake you out. Because they know that, oh, there's some glass right there and there's a rake over there. And you've watched enough of them to know that this, and that. And then those items won't even be the items that do the do, or they don't do them the way you think they're going to do them. So they do a good job with that. Then, I know JR picked up on this because, come on, man. How can you be RP and not pick up on it? How they do the nasty work with the mama? When the young girl had the order messed up when she was trying to do the kids, blah blah blah, and the moms was like, "I gotta tell y'all something. This is why. This is why you messed up the order. Cause I've been keeping a secret for 1 trillion years.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
What? Now I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna leave it alone. In the opening scene, I knew who that little boy was gonna be.
You did?
Mm-hmm. I just knew it. I just knew it. And it was him. I'm like, that was the bomb. So check it out if y'all haven't seen it yet. It's amazing, actually. I think it's to be besides, and I'm only doing the first one because it was nostalgic as being the first one, but I might say it was better than the first one. Bloodlines was nice. Critics liked it too, which is surprising. They don't really like horror movies that much.
Yeah. It's because I think it's because it's been so long and they got straight to it. So
and doing the whole thing where they added that extra layer to it by death taking so long to catch the original people that they had families that should have never existed. Nice. Yeah, very nice, very nice.
Should have never existed.
Be careful when you take your trash out. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I mean, because we look at, and I'm gonna say this and get off here, man. Because it makes me think about. I watched this show called, and because Lil Duval kind of posted it, so I went to look at it. I watched this show called Air Disasters. And I fly every week. But this Air Disasters, you get to see the reenactment of all these different.
They're like first 48s for major headline accidents that you may remember from news.
Right. And they own like 20, like season 20 something, right? So that shows you how many planes have went down. And I think I saw a statistic earlier this week about how many people have died in plane crashes, and I think it's over 100,000 people have died in plane crashes, right? So you think of, just take one of those planes, for example, right? Think about the bloodlines that have been wiped out just on one plane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just think of that whole concept of what you just described in terms of death. And if all those people survived, what could have happened, that their progeny, so on and so forth, could have came from that, and how many have ended or never existed based upon
that flight. Yeah,
flight, man. So it's a strange concept just to think from day to day, man, about things like that happening, man. And if they didn't, what if the plane was never invented? What if cars were never invented? You know what I'm saying? But then again, what if oil? What if we never discovered oil? A lot of people, because you see, and I hate to get into all this, I don't get off this. There's a chart, I guess, from the moment that we discovered oil and really started refining it, we started using it, and electricity, same thing. How the human population just went like this. Skyrocketed based on that. So I guess that's what anything else, give and take. How many people would be living if there weren't cars? How many people would be living, or how many people? But it's give and take. I think it all evens out. It all balances. That's why the whole thing with Final Destination, the balance, the scales, the checks and balances of life. You have this, and death has to balance the scales when it comes to these things. So, man, it's a very interesting concept. I think, all in all, man, when you just think about life, and the fragility of it, and cause and effect, causality, people living versus people dying. What if,
and cosmically speaking, how small it is. Like our lives are a nanosecond, cosmically speaking. Like the earth has been here, 4.5 billion years. What is your 80-year life compared to that? A nanosecond.
That's what I say when we talk about, again, and I don't want to hop back on that. When you talk about slavery, right? You talk about where Black people are, for example, right now, in the whole stream of time, where they say for right now is the dark ages for Black people, for lack of a better term, but it's just a small point in time. You know what I mean? As opposed, you have some people on top, some people on the bottom. You have some people, so it's just a moment, or like you said, a microcosm, or just a blip in time, as opposed to this whole time stream. Whether it's linear or whether it's circular. You ever seen that movie Synchronic?
I don't know if I saw Synchronic.
It has Anthony Mackie.
Who?
Anthony Mackie. It's on Netflix.
I hadn't clicked it. I know what you're talking about. I hadn't watched it.
So basically, that DMT. You heard of that? DMT is it's a scientific drug name or hormone, whatever you want to call it. DMT, dimethyl some stuff. But anyway, your third eye, what is it called? Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's a part of your body that say it's calcified on a lot of us now. The pineal gland. Excuse me. So the pineal gland, supposedly where, we can tap into another dimension, which is also known as the third eye on human beings, the pineal gland. Anyway, this DMT, for anybody who's taken it, your body naturally manufactures it or produces it. We just don't have enough of it, as if we took it on ayahuasca. You heard about these people taking ayahuasca and
having going on these journeys,
licking the bellies of these toads.
Toads,
yeah. So this DMT takes you to another dimension. Will Smith talks about it in his book, where he's done it like a dozen times. But it takes you to this other dimension where you actually get to meet yourself inside your mind and all your fears. You're just stuck there, right? But in this movie, they produce it as a party drug, if you will, for lack of a better term, that you could buy out of the store, DMT. And what happens is, when you take it, Anthony Mackie's character has a pineal gland that hasn't been calcified. So he's able to time travel when he takes it, lack of a better term, right? And the way the guy describes it is that people think time is linear, but it's not linear. It's like a circle. So he said the way the guy who made the drug, he said it's like a record. When you put a record on a record player, it spins, as opposed to you thinking it's just so I know we're getting off on these different things, but I think that that's an interesting concept. of life, death, the way this time goes. This could happen this moment, the next moment this could happen, and we're living in this small period of time. So it's going to seem like it's forever.
Yeah, to us.
You know, to us, it's going to be like it's forever. But in the grand scheme of whether you believe in a higher power, it's just like a blink or a blip or whatever. So, you know.
And shout out to you, Ashley and fam. I'm glad everything's looking better for the father-in-law, man. Shout out to you guys.
Indeed, shout out for sure, man. But yeah, anything else we I know finance. I know we don't know if you got anything for finance, but it's
I cover it on Monday.
Yeah, we this one is carrying a little bit. But yeah, man, that's all I got, man. It's definitely been a good show. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in religiously, for lack of a better term, to this show. I appreciate the you know, the support. I'm pretty sure QT Dub does as well. And
for shizzle.
You know, hopefully you guys have a great weekend. It's a beautiful day here in Atlanta. So we'll hop out on this scooter after our, you know, record,
yes, sir.
Get some footage, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
You know, we'll catch you guys later, man. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow the Independent Mail. Make sure you guys set all notifications, hit that bell if you haven't, and we're gonna catch you guys on the next one, man. We're out of here.
Peace.
Peace.